Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, your brother, Deng. I want to take this privilege and this pivotal moment to just keep, I want to give some counseling and some advice as one of the advocates. I don't have any political affiliation that I may be just coming forward to represent here, but I just want to give some counseling based on the projecting views of others politicians and the looming volatile situations which had been going on in South Sudan. My advice it's not going to be specific, it's going to be like general. When you look at the situation in South Sudan, as the citizens and the advocates, the situation in South Sudan is very volatile, and also people now, they are so desperate to even to breathe oxygen. Trepidation took over, a lot of fear, a lot of chaos is happening everywhere around South Sudan. And I should say my sincere apology to our vulnerable population of Nuer who have been targeted and who have been in this excruciating pain in different places. They are seeing their loved ones killing, and they are also living together with accomplices, the people who like to see others suffering, the people who also inflicted pain. And that's why now, as we speak, there are some groups, some Nuer people who now sacrifice their life to protect the vulnerable people, because this volatile situation has been going on now for almost 2 decades, and the government, the so-called government, they never have rest, they never got rest. They killed people like the way they could butcher some animal. They massacred. And when they massacred people, when they killed them, they may parade them, and also they may call for celebration for them to enjoy it, and also to become joyful because they have killed a lot of people. Killing people now in South Sudan is like when you butchered other animals in the bush. It is not something that people should have emotion about it. It is not something that people should even think is very shocking, and it's very sad. It's just call for celebration whenever you kill like 10 people, 20 people. It's easy for others, but for some it is uneased. And at this point, I would like to express my sincere condolences to Nuer people who are still dying now in different places, in their designated places, in their resident places, their residential places, like Low now. They try to defend themselves from this uncertainty situation. They try to defend that remnant vulnerable people who are still targeted by so-called the government. This is very painful, and it may also shatter many dreams in our life. That's why when you see the population in South Sudan now, it is dispersed. It become like a dispersely populated area. It's because people, they even evacuate. They left their origin places. If you look at it like very closely, you may see that some places they are desolate, and it will be like that for some more decade to come. Government is not working to sustain any person's life. They work to destroy them. And this is not the government. I don't believe this is the government we chose for. This is not the government we chose for. This is not the government we voted for. When the message came at that time for referendum to be formed and to be organized, so we vote like 100%. We vote 100% to support the government. But right now, people are very desperate to find the way that even they don't even want to have something called government, because a lot of trepidation, a lot of fear now is going on in South Sudan. You can just walk for 2 seconds without checking your shoulder, without looking back, without looking on your right, on your left, because the dreadful situation that has been imposed to many people, now it become horrified and terrified. A lot of people now, they are so fearful for their life, for their own life, and the government is working very hard to kill them. He used any exerted force. He even used the chemical, the banned chemical by the United Nations. Since 1945, he used them over the vulnerable civilian who have nothing, unarmed civilian who have nothing but their own hands. They have no anything. They have no weapons. But the government working extremely hard to impose this excruciating pain on their loved ones, on their children, on vulnerable elders, and also women. So a lot of people, they are dying. They cause so much chaos. Women and men and also children, they are dying every single day now. And the world is keeping silent. There's the work that the international community should have to do. They should have to intervene. They should have to make sure that those who cause this volatile situation, those who cause this uncertainty in South Sudan among the elderly people, the children and the women, they have to be held accountable. And they're being held as accountable. They cannot just look at them like accomplices. They have to take action against those people. Because as far as I know, the war now very soon, it will be like more than 2 decades, 20 years fight. Because this year, I believe we have like 15 years fighting with we fight with a lot of things. We fight with starvation. We fight with famine. We fight with anger. If you see a lot of people in South Sudan now, they are so emaciated. They are so skinny. People who are suffering in refugees camp with the trauma, anxiety. A lot of things are happening. There's no any peace now for any South Sudanese. Even we, the people here in abroad, we don't have peace, because the news that we receive every day is not a good news. We receive the death of our loved ones. We receive the bad news about our remaining family back home. They are dying. They are dying because of a lot of things. There's no any medical care. There's nothing. So all the hospital facilities in South Sudan, if they build one, is now empty. There's no any medication, no medical supplement that should save life. That's the word that I was looking for. So therefore, it is our collective responsibility to possibly strongly condemn anything that cause the inconducive environment to our people back home. So we have to find a way, we have to use different approach if we can find a way to eliminate these people. Because right now some people, they even choose to die to protect their parents, their children, their elderly people, the people they love most, against this corrupt government, against this autocratic government. They use anything, they employ anything to protect their loved ones. And now, as we speak, there's something like some kind of genocide is committed now in South Sudan. Because what is it? If you find like 20 family who have nothing, but they are poor, they are destitute, they try to live in their muddy house, but you come with your guns, with your all the artillery weapons, and you bomb them, and you kill them, you torch their house, you burn their house down to the hatches. And the survival may just be anguish, and they live in rubbles. How do we call that person? And after you kill them, you put them together, you parade them together to celebrate, to show the others that you have a power. Does it mean you have a power? When you kill somebody who has nothing, in his hand or in her hands, you kill the child. Does it show that you are a powerful person? It shows the opposite. It shows you are weak. You don't have any power at all. So you're proud. You have nothing, and you can't be bragging about killing someone who is an unarmed person. So my video go to anybody who would think that South Sudan now is a good place, who would think that South Sudan now is a place that you can imagine, or is a wonder place. It's not a wonder place. It's not a wonderful place. It's a place that is full of awful things, the dreadful things. And this now, as we speak, this nowadays, there are a lot of dramatic scenes of killing people. There's a fight everywhere. There's a war everywhere. Dramatic war that's killing people back and forth. People now, they try to defend themselves, but it's very hard. And also, on that notice, we have some newer people who are working with this corrupt government as they've been solicited. They have been solicited by the government. They have been paid by the government to kill their fellow Nuer people. And the people who are suffering now, ladies and gentlemen, they are Nuer, with some Dinkas who try to being awake and say no to what the government is doing. They are the ones who are dying now, not everybody. And what is the definition of the government? Last time, our brother, Honorable Lolgat Kwat, tried to define the government. The government, yes, they are a small group of people who become like over smart others. They over smart others. They try to manipulate, and they get what they want to get from the government. But they have something to give back too. They are not completely deprived. They cannot deprivate their people. They have to give services back, and that's being smart. And also, they have to oversee everything that could interfere with people's life. Like they may employ different strategies, like they They have to fight with hunger. Take it for example in this Western world where we live now. People who have no job, those who may be unemployed, or maybe they get laid off, or maybe their company is maybe closed for some reason. Maybe they don't have enough budget to accommodate their workers. Do you know what they do? They have something called welfare. That welfare that was installed back in 1996 by former President Bill Clinton is something that can help people. If you don't have money, mothers who's desperate for money can go to welfare, and the welfare should have to accept them. They have to pay their rent. They have to facilitate some help that may help them to cope with such a situation. That's the government. Government should have to have a welfare. They should settle the welfare, or the government should also have something called food banks. That food bank may help people who have no helpless people, like really people who are so desperate, people who have on the verge of starvation. So they have to go to food bank, and the food bank should provide some food. The food bank, they collect some food from remnant food from different company, different organization. They put them together so that any person who is desperate, who need food, should have to come and get something for her or for his family to survive. This also is a part of the thing that the government should have to do, right? There are a lot of things the government should have to do. And also there is something called inns, or shelter for homeless. That shelter must be prepared. They must hire some workers to provide food and to clean the clothes of homeless. They have to cook for them. This also is a part of the government that the government should have to put forward to help people. So what the government is doing now, the government is just using bullets to kill people. Instead of serving them, what they are doing, they are killing them. So I don't think the definition fit in this category. If you just shot someone or you fire someone with gun, and you said, what are you going to say? And you said you are the government. Who is smart? That's not smart. In here also in the Western world, they hire police. Police could take care of the crime on the street or the criminal on the street. That's the work of police. They hire doctors to take care of population. The population must be sustained. It must be kept stable. But what the South Sudan is doing now is chasing everybody away, and they just keep a small group of people who worship and praises the leaders who are on the top politician. They praise them, they worship them, they kneel down to worship them. If you don't worship them, if you don't give them special names, so you will find yourself being thrown into the trash. If you don't praise them, if you don't worship them, they will think that you are disgusted. And the only thing they have to do is either throw you in jail, or they may just kill you, or they may chase you away, go to refugees camp and suffer over there. That's the definition of the government. What kind of government? Who doesn't have any empathy to their population? What kind of government? If the government are a small number of people who become smart to cheat and also to get to suck the blood of others, so they have to work hard. They have to work hard to bring people together and let people not knowing that they are cheating, because the day they will be awake or become conscious is the day you're going to be in a big time trouble. So to avoid this disgusting treatment of population, and you call yourself smart, I think you have to think twice. You have to have a good strategy to keep the population and to manipulate them in the way that they will not pay attention to what you are doing. Hire the young people. What happened now to young people? Young people now, they even choose, some of them they chose to smuggling to other countries. They risk their life. Some of them they die before they reach to their destination. But what if you guys use different approach? If you are smart, you have to use different approach. Instead of scattering the population, instead of choosing people to run away from you, you have to bring them together. Bring them together. Give them what little thing they want, and then take the big thing. I should continue talking, but I think I have enough point to discuss and to give some advice, and I will do this next time. But you guys, you have to think twice. South Sudan would never be the same again. The uncertainty in the country now is seen all over South Sudan. Everybody now know that there's something fishy going on in South Sudan. And the President Kiir, if there is anything that he should recollect, he must have to think that the country is on the brink of chaos. It's already on the brink of chaos. It's already falling apart. So if there is any way to curb this political polarization and the death of the people, he should have to do it right now, not tomorrow, today. He has to come up with anything that could bring the country together. Because right now the tribal war is all over South Sudan. Every people now, they think about their own. Every people, they think about their own. They want to protect their own family. Because even those people you solicited, or those people that you solicited, or those people that you hire, instead of your son or instead of your daughter to go and fight with Nuer, they are thinking about now their family. Who's going to protect their family if they engage themselves with Nuer people, like the war that's going on now? Think about Shuluk and others, Equatorial. If you care about your own, so everybody should have to care about their own too. Thank you.